Hi and welcome back, fellow Viator. We are here to recap the events of The World Ends With You 1. Last time we got introduced to our main cast, the self-absorbed Neko and his pact partner Shiki, who can't get through to him. Together we are caught up in a so-called Reaper's game. Sounds inviting, right? For as much as we know, we have to survive for 7 days to escape it. The first one lies behind us, 6 more up ahead. I really wonder if we can make it, especially with those two fighting non-stop. With each of those 7 days came a mission from the Reapers. The one for day 2 was to free a statue from its curse, whatever that meant. A lack of any other ideas, we followed Shiki's intuition towards the Hashiko statue in Shibuya. It should have been a short way from where we started, but as we had grown accustomed to, the way got blocked by an invisible wall. Unlike Neko, Shiki did not see it coming and ran straight into it. There was a pattern to these walls, you see. Dudes in red indicated a wall being nearby, which also could be broken by fulfilling a task. Neko didn't run into it exactly because he understood that rule. He spotted and confronted one of the red, who simply ignored Neko's rough approach and accusation of being one of the Reapers. All he got out of him was his condition for the wall to open. This whole Reaper thing is still so new to us, and there are so many questions unanswered. I remember being confused about the formulation of the Red One's request. It just sounded so much like the Reaper's mission for the day. Was it referring to the same thing? Is this one meant by it? Neko's scan of the Moyai statue revealed 2 distinct colored noises. Bingo! Finishing damn off gave us a pass on the quest, but not on the day's mission. Approaching Hashiko's statue, we catch a glimpse on someone watching us from afar. His features are so distinct, I would have remembered if I'd seen him before. I don't know why, he seemed to have taken an interest in our partner, Shiki. Wow, it's crowded here. If this is our target, I expected some kind of event to be triggered. But unlike the Moyai statue, Hashiko had no noise nearby. Could we have been wrong? Maybe it wasn't Hashiko then. For Neko, this was just another random statue. He didn't know of the meaning behind Hashiko. In his eyes, Shiki led him to the wrong target, wasting their limited time to complete the Reaper's mission, ultimately proving him right that it was stupid to rely on others. As he kept this mostly in his mind, it did not affect Shiki that much. While he was busy blaming her, she noticed something being wrong with the statue, but she couldn't really pin it down. We had to do a bit of backtracking to catch the thoughts of a man with a strangely high level of empathy for statues, to spark the idea of cleaning Hashiko in the head of our 2. Shiki had to use some of her persuasive powers to get Neko onto the statue to polish it in front of all these people. But instead of cleaning it, we exposed this Noise Hound. Of course it attacked us right away, together with its 2 friends. Those beasts are damn agile. For me, it worked best to catch them with the fire psych once they crowded up a bit. Together with them vanished the timer on our hands. That's it. We survived Days 2 mission. Having the timer off relieved some major pressure. Finally some time to speak of something else than just a mission. Shiki took the moment to ask what Neko meant when he said he won't need friends. After all, that's a really sad statement, right? Friends support one another, and without her, he had never solved the riddle around Hashiko. Yet his perception was so different from hers. In his eyes, all she was a stalker, which he can do very well without. The two were just about to start fighting again, as we got interrupted by the same voice we heard yesterday at 10:04. A Reaper, and angry for not having caught us yesterday. The timer on our hands was gone, the mission was over. And still she tossed this cursed hedgehog at us. Damn, I had problems with this. There's just so much going on both screens. This battle system is really challenging me a lot. And I died.
I'm fading. Watch yourself.
Maybe it would have been a good idea to get in front of the hedgehog. Anyways, we got to him eventually. Neko and Shiki left the battle heavy wounded and at their limits. Fretted with yet another noise, Neko saw no other option than to get rid of the source of those beasts. That seemed to be a very stupid idea. The Reaper jumped onto the offer and erased the noise she just had summoned, leaving Neko shocked. He had thought of them as allies, but it was nothing like that. The noise were just tools used by the Reaper to get to the players' heads. Now that he was in this mess of challenging her, he noticed that he hadn't had any clue of what he was going into. Thank God Shiki called him back in the last moment. The Reaper could have erased him in seconds. I guess it required Neko's agreement to allow the Reaper to act. She clearly was bound by some set of rules and struggled once Neko made a step back. Such a killjoy. She had to come up with another idea. Then she offered Neko a backdoor out of the Reaper's game, if he had completed her challenge. Too sweet of a deal, he agreed, ignoring all of Shiki's warning screams. Obviously she tricked him. This was a game to her and she enjoyed it thoroughly. Neko got a 1-minute timer. His goal? Erase Shiki. Failure, as usual, is punished with erasure. Now it was his life against hers, and he had to make the decision in just 1 minute. As you might imagine, that put Neko under immense stress. He couldn't be just asked to kill someone. 30 seconds passed, and he hadn't made a choice. So the Reaper felt that she had to spice up the game by pronouncing Shiki as a Reaper spy, thanking her on top of this absurd lie for her good work and frequent check-ins. This was so unfair. In such a moment, he couldn't think clear. Maybe it was right. She had been on her phone frequently. All her attempts to defend herself, to get through to Neko, had been in vain. The 10-second mark has reached. The Reaper was cheering for Neko. He should save himself and screw on everyone else. Shiki asked him, even politely, to not do it. He thought he had to. Oh God.
Please, don't kill me.
Neko woke up, alone, surrounded by darkness, his thoughts returning to his last act. He tried to light the area with his fire pin, but it did not work. Carefully feeling for a way out, he suddenly heard footsteps. Prepared for the worst, he bumped into Shiki. She's there. She's alive. As surprised as Neko to find one another here, she had searched the room for a way out and tripped possibly a dozen times on the attempt. With her back, Neko tried again to use the fire pin, but it still failed him. It was not supposed to work outside of noise battles, similar to almost all other pins. It wasn't needed either. Shiki had found the way already and would guide him out. You ask yourself too, right? How did she survive this? Simply put, Neko's attempt got stopped by a man who later introduced himself as Sanae Hanekoma, self-proclaimed guardian and watcher over the game. The Reaper who attacked the two went against the rules of the game. Erasing a partner is against them by definition. Also, there could only be one mission per day, selected by the Game Master, which she wasn't. The Reaper talked herself out of the situation and left. It was Shiki who thanked him for saving the two of them. Like a little kid, Neko tried to push the responsibilities of his actions away. Hanekoma didn't let him slide. Neko got the two into that horrible situation. He ignored all of Shiki's warnings, and he had to stop thinking that he could do everything by himself. Hanekoma made him apologize to Shiki, who even made herself partially responsible for what happened. She forgave him, saying it was the Reaper who made him do this. I don't know how I feel about this. Hanekoma though bursted into a laughter. Forgiving one another was an important step to better the teamwork, and trusting one's partner was the one thing in this game which decides over who stays alive. Neko will have to get out of his shell and start sharing his thoughts and feelings. Shiki couldn't agree more. She wanted to understand him so badly. He wanted that too. Huh? What was that? Neko wanted, but could not understand himself. He just recognized that he had no memories besides his name. He was so lost in this world and game. Shiki's attitude towards him had changed. She became more calm now, thankful for them to finally start talking to one another. The beep sound of the new mission came so suddenly that she dropped her phone in surprise. It landed face up and gave us a glimpse on this photo. Shiki's friend. That's what she had been looking at whenever she took out her phone. But she didn't want to talk about her. Neko noticed that when she pushed his attention towards the next mission, but he let it slide. Day's 3 mission was to defeat the Master of A East within the next 360 minutes. This dark place turned out to be already A East. So we started at the target location for this day's mission, but at its state, it didn't appear any wise to attempt a search for its master. Somehow, we had to get the light back up. Luckily, Shibuya used to be Shiki's main place for hangouts, so naturally she knew her way around. The A East building was no exception. It was used for concerts. Actually, at this very moment a rehearsal should be in full play, but thanks to the blackout, this guy from 777, the singer of an indie band, couldn't get to it. A tech they had hired should have fixed this a while ago now, but he went missing. Meant if we helped them, it would come to our benefit, right? Is every area locked off by one of them? Another red means another fight, and Shiki wanted to use this to test a new pin we got from Mr. Hanekoma, and a special one it was. 2 players had to be in sync to activate it. Naturally a mechanic Neko despised, as it forced him to cope with Shiki. It couldn't hurt to try it though. While the two were fighting, let's recap on some intel Hanekoma gave us. First of all, he verified our assumption of only one player being needed to complete the Reaper's mission. Hanekoma insisted though that still everyone should try, arguing that if all presume that someone else is clearing the job, eventually no one will end up doing it. Plus, the Reapers assign points to players who finish a mission. He assured us that we won't regret collecting those. Their purpose though will only be revealed at day 7 of the game. Thanks to him we learned that there are different types of Reapers. Not everyone is out for player hunting, but those who are actually have to. Neko's instinct on the red guys proved to be right as well. They were all Reapers, but not of the player hunting type. One of the more mind-boggling informations revealed that the Shibuya we've been in wasn't the real one. It's called the underground version, and it existed at the same time and space as the so-called real ground, our home. It's operated as a giant chessboard for the Reapers game, and it is run by a sort of supervisor called the Composer. That's interesting. Yet Mr. Hanekoma couldn't tell us something more specific about this Composer. It's classified information. How convenient. As well as his own role in this game. He's really well informed, isn't he? Where did he get all this intel from? Maybe he's one of the supportive Reapers? All I know is that he is definitely very skilled in evading questions to his own person. Today's session had a whole lot to digest, don't you think? I'm not sure if we ended up with more questions than we had before. Day 1 and 2 went by quickly, and I wonder what day 3 has still in store for us. Let's continue with the search of the tech guy in the next part. Until then, bye!